Good morning, student. Myself, Professor Dhaval Chandarana, and we are continue on our unit number 1, Introductions of Cyber Law. Guys, we are discussing a cyber law and ethics subject of your 6th semester electrical department. As previous lecture, we will discuss a jurisdiction's court and the hierarchy of court, and later on we will discuss the two important terms known as a cyberspace and a web space. Today's video lecture depends on a last term known as web space. What is the requirement of websites nowadays? What we are doing each and every day-to-day activity through the websites. So what was the different rules and the regulations for developing a particular websites on form of organization point of view or for the client point of view. So today's lecture is mainly focused on two important concepts known as a web hosting and the web development agreements, and a second on we will discuss the basic introductions of domain name. Both the thing it should be part of a websites, and through the website what are the different process to performing or processing a particular websites on a internet. So guys, we will discuss today's video lecture with help of web hosting agreement. And what is a website hosting agreement? Agreement, it is the rules or regulations to follow by the both the party who becomes a website owner and who becomes a website developer. So what are the different agreements are part of a particular website we will discuss on today's video lecture. So we'll start. All thought web hosting contract are different, and you must always pay carefully attention to your specific terms. Most agreements cover the same basic issues. As we know that every organization have his or her personal and private rules, but some of the rules, some of the agreements are common in between World Wide Web. So whatever the rules or agreement, it should be common in between a website on a particular territorial area. We will discuss on those common area. We will not focusing on any kind of specific organizations as well as on a specific state. So what are the different issues to perform a website hosting agreement? First one is timing. It's nothing but a technical term known as a deadline. The length of contract usually yearly through the sometimes a monthly, and the date your service begin. Means a time bound should be important whenever we discuss a website agreement, because whenever we discuss a website in form of content, in form of delivery time, it is the most important thing to manage those time which is given by the website developer. Second one is cost. It is a mandatory thing whenever we create some websites or hosting some websites. So the cost of your service, what that service include, any setup fees, and the types of payment the company accepted. Guys, cost is nothing but the payment, but it is a delivering a payment, different service including those kind of cost, and any kind of setup or extra code it is required or not, it is discussion in this particular 4 words. It is known as a cost, and it is the most important in a website hosting agreements. Most important thing which we want to focus whenever we create some website, it is nothing but a renewal. We can say it is a self after services. Usually automatic and often with a notice that a fees may change, so pay attention to those come a renewal time. We know that they have defined some specific time like a guarantee warranty period. In between, if anything should be happen, the website developer will be performed without any cost. But after this particular time, if we want to update or modify any kind of functionality and add some new features in our websites, then they can definitely take some charge based on our relationship based on the functionality, based on the features we want to add on the particular websites. But it is different according to the time, according to the companies, according to the functionality which we want to update on particular websites. But the renewal is the most important thing about defining the timing period through which they can provide the services without any cost. Then dispute resolutions. It is known as a error, or we can say bug. How they can solve it? What are the different times? For that they can take some money, or without they can take money. It is known as a dispute resolutions. The venue and or state law that applies to any dispute under the contract, as well as what cost the pre-traveling or prevailing a party may recover, which include the legal fees. So whenever website found any kind of bug, then how they can resolve this with a specific time, with a specific cost, it is mentioned on a dispute resolutions. It is depends on a company as well as a developer, as well as we can say a company's or organization's owner. Then intellectual properties. Your essentials that you have the rights to use the copyrights and trademark associated with your website. If you notice that any of the website which is you are referring on a day-to-day life, on the footer end or on the last end of websites, on the bottom of the website, you find some C copyright symbol. It is mentions that it is developed by the particular website companies or organization, and they have all the rights regarding these particular websites. Means they want to update it, they want to delete some content, they want to add some new information. They have completely authorized persons to this particular website. It is known as an intellectual property. Terminating, or we can say terminations, the specific steps to take when you want to change a provider, such as notifying your current provider with a certain time periods to avoid incurrence additional fee. Guys, this thing is nowadays is really happening with a particular owner, because a particular organization want to develop some website with a specific framework or a criteria, but organizations take a specific charges against those kind of modification, but the owner or website owner, they don't want to pay some charges against this kind of updations. So for that they just change a company's owner to a specific owner, and they can terminate this particular contract, which is should be deal with a particular development type with a specific period of time at the time of development agreement. Like I will just give you the example. If A's company want to develop a specific website to a B's organizations or B's development team, they take an agreement between 5 years. In between 5 years, if they want to change any kind of websites or functionality, they can change without any kind of cost. So B accept this kind of conditions, but after the 5 years they want to take some charges against all kind of modification which want to define by A's company. So now A doesn't want to pay any kind of money against those kind of changes what they want to require now after 5 years. So they just change a developer team, and they can just update his or her terminations agreement. So it is known as a terminations period. Now what is a web development agreement? Previous which we are discussing is website hosting agreement. Now we discuss a web development agreement. Who can develop a website for this particular organizations. So the developer's responsibility is web design, known as design materials provided by the owners, accessibility during development, and delivery of deliverables. First thing, it is a website design. It is known as a look and feel of a particular website. So for this they want to responsible for the design which is defined by the owners, material provided by the owners, through which, like, I want to create my website for the online mobile shopping. So for that, on my point of view as a owner of this particular company, I want to given a specific model, price, specific features they can provide on a particular website. So it is a material through which they can upload in on particular websites. Then accessibility during the development means it is known as a, we can say, a testing period. Website team provide the demo website to the organization, and they can provide the specific time to verify all the contents which should be provided by the website developer. And the last thing, how they can deliver those website with a specific agreement, or we can say it is a particular time bound limit. Second, it's known as a domain name. It is depends on a website team as well as a particular owner. So for that domain name, it is the important thing which we are discussing on the later on lectures. Then fees, which we are discussing in our previous slide. Fees is the most important thing during the websites, after the websites, and after the modification if they want to define a particular websites. Then expenses. What was the expenses? Including website cost, excluding website cost, including tax, without including tax, all the thing it should be part of expensive. Then what are the materials required to purchasing to upload a websites? Then if they provide a more security against a website, it is the extra cost which is defined by the developers team, which should be provided by the website owner. So it is excluding website development agreement. It's known as a expensive. Like nowadays online marketing trend, it should be really boost up. So a social networking, social marketing, it is also part of expensive. Then future development and enhancement and licenses. Guys, we discussed on a previous slide, they have some copyrights. It is known as a licenses. License is nothing but to access a specific content which should be delivered on the websites, and it is authorized person also can change, as well as website developer team, they can modify his or her private data with a specific requirement. And what is a future development? It's nothing but a sales after services. After delivering a deliverables, if owner want to change some functionality, or they can update a specific design on a specific page, website developer team is responsible to update those kind of changes which is provided by the owner, and it should be part of website development agreement. Then confidential informations of owner. The most important thing for my point of view is confidential informations, because owner want to define all the informations which is provided on the website, and it is not a deliver on the public sites. They just provide the confidential information for the website team, and it is a compulsory to become a confidential until the owner doesn't want to disclose on a public stage. So it is one of the best agreement for the website developer team as well as for the company's organization. Then ownerships of owner content. Nowadays they have some two different concept of website development. If a owner want to particular code or core part which is by the developer team which be defined, if they want to particular code, the charges will be different. And if they just want to a website without any kind of code, the charge should be different. So for this, the agreement must be required. Then trademarks, which is discussed based on the ownership content, licenses and the copyrights agreement. Then copyright notice. It should be based on companies, organizations, or become website developer team. It should be based on the copyright information mentioned on a particular website. It's by the owner informations or the website information. It depends on both the developer and owner agreements. Now, a last thing which we are discussing through the video lectures is what is domain name. Guys, you must be understand what is a domain name. If you know what is a domain name, then you can easily understand what is the website, how it's work, and how we access a particular website without knowing his or her private IP address. So guys, we will discuss the important concept about a website hosting is known as a domain name. Domain name is the address of your websites that people type in the browser's URL is known as a uniform resource locator bar to visit your websites. As we know that if you want to search a Google on a website on a particular browser, we just want to try to enter a www.google.com on the URL browser and press enter. So a Google homepage will be available on a screen. In simple terms, if your website was a house, then your domain name will be its address. It's just an example. If you want to create a website and our business is house, then address of particular house is our domain name. A more detailed explanation is the internet is gained a network of computers connected to each other through the global network of a cable. We know that how to access our internet. Each computer on this network can communicate with other computer. We just perform the communications between multiple computers with help of internet. To identify them, each computer is assigned their IP address. Like if you want to call some of the phone mobile number, then we want to require a mobile number of this particular party. Same way, if you want to communicate with another computer, we just identify his or her personal IP address through which we can communicate with each other. It is a series, or we can say series of numbers that identify a particular computer on the internet. A typical IP address look like 66.249.66.1. It is one of the example how the IP address is identified. So it is in a 4 different octal. And what was the important? If you want to found any of the particular computer on the internet and we want to communicate with each and every computer, we must require a specific IP address which is given by the particular computer system. Now, an IP address like this is the quite difficult to remember because as per the human natures, they can't remember the numbers. They easily remember the particular name. Like a student enrollment number is really difficult to remember except with a name. Imagine if you had used such numbers to visit your favorite websites. Domain name were inverted to solve this problem. So the importance of domain name is identified that in a specific line. If we doesn't want to remember those kind of difficult number with replace of specific name, the work of specific name to number or conversations of number to name, it's known as a domain name. Now, if you want to visit a website, then you don't need to enter a long string of number. Instead, you can visit by typing easy remember domain name in your browser's address bar. For example, wpbeginners.com. The same way, if you want to remember IP address of this particular website, it is very difficult for the end users or for the client side. Now, how domain name is actually work? We just see how the domain name is work with help of figures. First, I need directions to particular wpbeginners.com. Then type a particular address bar. They are going to the DNS. It is domain name server system. They just found based on a particular address wpbeginner.com is not a many database or a cache. It will try another DNS server. If a particular DNS server not found, then they are going with a different DNS server. That is my cache. It maps to the IP address. Based on a particular address, they have found some IP address. So if a computer want to communicate with some another computer, they require a IP address. So first, they want to convert our address with a specific IP address. Then DNS server request to the specific content which is stored on some another server with help of this particular IP address. Great, I will cache that. For the while a cache I got more request. So based on this particular address, they send a particular request to provide a specific content which is available on a particular website, and based on the response they provide the homepage of this particular web addresses. So guys, this thing which we really want to know how a domain name is actually work. Same way, if you want to perform http://www.google.com, they just first identify a google.com with a specific IP address. If they found in server name or DNS server, they provide the specific request to the Google server, and Google server provides some response to a particular IP address. And after converging this process, they provide a specific screen which is based on a Google websites. So it is the thing which we know to know how a domain name is work. Now, what are the different types of domain names are available? It is the last thing which we are discussing for the today's video lecture. Domain names are available in a many different actions, or we can say extensions. The most popular one is .com. There are many another options like .org, .net, .tv, .info, .io and more and more. However, we always recommend using .com domain extensions because it is a generally more website is acceptable by the .com domain. They have divided three different sections on a domain name known as top level domain, TLD. What was the top level domain? A TLD are generic domain extensions that are listed at the highest level in the domain name system. That's why it's known as a top level domain. There are the hundreds of TLDs, but the most popular ones are .com, .org, .net, and another TLDs are lesser known as we don't recommend using them. For example, .biz, .club, .info, it is nowadays very boost up system, .agency and many more. So it is a generic domain through which we create a subdomain. It is nothing but a top level domain. Second, it is a country code top level domain, CCTLD. Country code top level domain or CCTLD are country specific domain name which is end with the country code extensions like UK for the United Kingdom, D for Germany, IN for the India. Just type google.co.in, it is refer with the Indian server. If you want to type google.co.uk, they are going for the UK server. So the country code top level domain is divided based on a country code, and it should be accessible by based on a top level country code. It is known as a CCTLD. The last thing, they are used by the websites that they want to target audience in a specific country. So the data filtration is easy with help of country code top level domain. And the last one, it is known as a sponsors top level domain. It is known as STLD. Sponsors top level domain or STLD is the categories of TLDs or top level domains that has a sponsors represent a specific community served by the domain extension. For example, .edu. If you want to search our website a specific gmit.edu.in for the education related organization like government, they have specific sponsors domain known as GOV for the United States government and MIL for the United States military and more. So guys, a domain name is divided on a three different section: top level, country code domain and the sponsors top level domain. I hope you are clear, and you must be remember those three things which we are discussing in the last point on this particular lecture. It is different type of domain, because on my personal point of view, domain and just write a short note on domain, it's maybe a specific question should be asked from the unit number 1. So guys, you must be remember what is a domain, what is the requirement of domain, how a domain name is work and what are the different type which we are discussing with help of domain name in this particular video lecture. I hope you are enjoying and like my videos. Thank you so much.